From ancient traditions to picture-perfect views that look like they're straight out of a fairy tale, Hungary seems to have it all. And here's the mind-blowing part. It's totally normal for people to do the craziest of things here. Yes, you heard that right. This is life in Hungary, a country where people bathe together, so nothing is impossible. Here are some interesting facts. Chapter 1. The mystery languages. Let's start off this interesting journey with the languages. You probably know that Hungarian is the official language and, of course, one of the most challenging languages to learn on Earth. But did you also know that Hungary is home to 14 recognized minority languages? Yes, it is. Surprisingly, in certain towns and villages here, you might hear people speak Croatian, Slovak, German, or even Romanian. These languages were not just randomly chosen to be spoken. Hungary made it a point to protect them, thanks to the European Charter for Regional or Minority Languages, which they signed back in 1995. However, despite these languages being recognized, more and more people from these minorities speak Hungarian as their primary language. Imagine growing up in a place where your grandparents spoke a different language than the one you currently speak. That is nothing short of a fascinating mix of tradition and change, all wrapped up in one small country. Chapter 2. The Hungary Healing Baths. The famous Hungary baths were built during the Ottoman occupation back in the 16th century. The Turks brought their bathing culture to Hungary, and the tradition stuck around long after they left. Interestingly, some of these old Turkish baths, like the Rudas and Kerali baths in Budapest.
So the baths here are broken up into a few different parts. You've got like the main bath area, that's where we are now. There's 3 pools here.
Are still in operation today, even without any visible ocean in the country. But is it missing out on any of the ocean's benefits? No, because this part of the world obviously is loaded with thermal water springs, filled with minerals people believe can heal all sorts of aches and pains. It has over 1,300 of them, and Budapest alone has 123. It would interest you to know that Budapest has received people from all walks of life for hundreds of years who come to soak in its thermal baths.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The center pool here is for doing laps.
The city's spa culture is so integrated in everyday life that visiting a bathhouse is as normal as grabbing a cup of coffee. And honestly, these aren't just any baths. They are architectural beauties, so who wouldn't love to be here every day? The Széchenyi thermal bath on its own is so eye-appealing that you can swim in outdoor pools surrounded by beautiful neo-Baroque buildings. For centuries, Hungarians believed in the power of thermal waters, not just for relaxation, but for maintaining a balanced, healthy life. As an outsider, you might find it surprising, but Hungarians see these spas as important necessities for their well-being. To them, everyone must take part regularly to keep their bodies in tune and enjoy the therapeutic benefits while chatting with friends or simply unwinding after a long day. The healing properties of these thermal waters are even backed by science, and the exact mineral content of the water varies depending on where you are in Hungary. Impressively, many of these springs are rich in calcium, magnesium, and sulfur, known to help with everything from joint pain to skin conditions. Some baths are even recommended by doctors as part of a treatment plan for chronic illnesses. So, when you're soaking in one of these pools, you're not just relaxing, you're giving your body a serious boost. And if you ask us, we think it is a culture that blends wellness with everyday life in a truly unique way. Whether it's sulfurous, salty, or packed with other special minerals, each spring is unique, and people can flock to them for their curative powers.
Has like a little, it's basically jets that shoot water all into one direction, so you just get pushed around.
Chapter 3. The City of Light. Now here's something fun to hear. Budapest is the center of everything in Hungary, and it is so central that it makes up about 33% of the entire population. That means 1 out of every 3 people in Hungary lives in Budapest or its metropolitan area. Here's a cool history though. Budapest wasn't always one city. As of 1873, Budapest was 3 separate cities divided by the Danube River. Buda was known for its rolling hills and royal palaces, and Pest for its flat lands. But why is it called the City of Light? Well, Budapest is a city that is at its best after dark. When the sun goes down, it comes alive at night with monuments illuminated along the river Danube. From the sparkling chain bridge and parliament on the Pest side, the castle town, and fishermen's bastions on the Buda bank of the city, the glowing gold buildings create a dramatic and magical backdrop for events. The city has a massive wealth of amazing dinner venues that all have a unique and show-stopping angle across the city. From the traditional halaszbastia, the restaurant set in a fairy tale castle tower, to the Spoon, a modern restaurant set on a boat in the heart of Pest, to the spectacular glowing castle town, Budapest sure lives up to its name as the City of Light. Chapter 4. The Hungarian Women. Hungarian women are some of the most beautiful women in the world, and this isn't just a mere compliment. God sure spent several days to mold their deep, expressive eyes and high cheekbones, and topped it all on the last day with their elegant sense of style. But beauty, as they say, is just the beginning, because these women aren't just beautiful, but also warm and open-minded, especially the younger generation. When you talk about being helpful and friendly, Hungarian women tick all the boxes. However, they never ever mistake their warmth for passiveness, because they are also incredibly strong-willed. Their faces say a million things at once, because they're never afraid to show their emotions any time of the day. Whether it's excitement, joy, or even a bit of frustration, you will visibly see it. These women from this part of the world are quite modern, you know. However, even in their modernity, Hungarian women value tradition a lot. And guess what? They appreciate every genuine gesture done by their male counterparts. Nevertheless, sometimes they can be a bit meddlesome. But before you think this is negative, this trait often comes from a place of care and concern, because they're naturally curious and want to be involved in the lives of their loved ones. So, if a Hungarian woman asks you so many questions or gives you advice, it's just her way of showing she cares. Chapter 5. Free money for getting married. Have you ever heard of a country where you can actually get paid to get married? Yes, and that right there is one interesting fact about Hungary. So here is the deal with this free money. The government introduced a special program to boost the number of marriages in the country because it was seeing a drop in the number of people getting married and having kids. So they decided to offer money to couples who decide to say, "I do." But there's more to this story than just free money. When a couple starts having children, they can start getting parts of this loan forgiven, and by the time they have their third child, the entire loan can be wiped out completely. However, if they are unable to bear any children in the first 5 years of marriage, they'd have no choice but to pay off every dime of this loan in 4 months. So to qualify for the free marriage money, at least one of the partners must be getting married for the first time and be under 41 years old. You can say this program has been a game changer for many young couples in Hungary and has played a big role in boosting the country's birth rate. Well, it already has a noticeable impact, and with more couples getting married and starting families, we think other countries might be queuing to do this. Who knows? Chapter 6. The Inner Sea, Lake Balaton. This landlocked country in the heart of Europe has something truly incredible. It's got an inner sea, Lake Balaton. But don't be fooled by the name lake. This place is massive. In fact, it is the largest lake in all of Central Europe, about 50 miles long, and covers an area of 230 square miles, roughly the size of a small country. But what makes Lake Balaton stand out amongst the rest is its clear, fresh water uniqueness that's perfect for swimming, boating, and fishing. It is fed by the Zala River, which brings in fresh water, and drained by the Sio Canal, the only outflow. Lake Balaton is much more than just a lake. It is steeped in history and unexpected surprises. Back in the year 846, a Slavic prince named Prabina selected this very area for a monumental purpose. He constructed a fortress right in the midst of forests and swamps along the Zala River. This stronghold, known as Blatnohrad or Mooseburg, served not only as a residence, but also as a defense against invaders such as the Bulgarians and Moravians. Just imagine attempting to invade a site where the very terrain works against you. Mud, water, and dense forests all around. But why is it referred to as an inner sea? Lake Balaton is so expansive that it nearly resembles an ocean embraced by the land. Spanning for miles, it's difficult to discern where it begins or ends. The lake became a hub of life, not only for those residing nearby, but also for visitors drawn to its beauty, its wines, and resorts. Chapter 7. Hungarians' Nightlife. What occurs when the sun sets in Hungary? We tell you for free that it is more than just the time for rest, particularly in its capital Budapest, which awakens at night in ways beyond imagination. The streets come alive, the air becomes filled with energy, and a sense of magic permeates the atmosphere. But where do you begin in this city that never sleeps? Let's start with something truly distinctive: ruin bars. Picture old, dilapidated buildings transformed into some of the trendiest venues in the city. These are not your ordinary bars. They feature an eclectic mix of furniture, whimsical decor, and an atmosphere that exudes creativity. Simpla Kurt, the most renowned among them, feels like entering a different realm. Each room boasts a unique theme, and you're always in for a surprise around the next corner. It's a space where history intertwines with the present, offering endless possibilities for your night out. But perhaps you're someone who enjoys dancing. No need to fret, as Hungary has plenty to offer. The clubs in Budapest, known for their vibrant atmosphere, feature everything from electronic beats to live music. Venues like Aquarium Club and Instant Fogas ensure the party continues until dawn. With loud music and high energy, everyone gathers for one purpose: to enjoy themselves to the fullest. You can dance until your feet ache and still crave more. And what's a night out without delicious food? Snacking on late-night street food in Hungary is essential, so you can picture yourself savoring a langos, a deep-fried dough smothered with sour cream and cheese, or grabbing a spicy sausage from a food truck. These flavors have a way of energizing you throughout the night as you hop from one lively spot to another. Chapter 8. No clinking glass in Hungary. Among Hungary's exciting cultures is the one that forbids the clinking of glasses when making a toast. Imagine having yourself in a quaint Hungarian pub, full of friends and cold beer drinks in your hands. The aura is full of energy and lively talks and, of course, some accompanying laughter. Then comes the time for a toast. At that very instant you wanted to clink glasses with a neighbor, you are all caught up. The warm ambiance suddenly disappears, and in place of the normal shout of cheers, you get an abrupt silence in return. Surprising, right? To better have clarity on this story, we need to travel 150 years back in time, to when Hungary was part of the Austrian Empire. It happened that in 1849, at the end of a hard-fought battle from their then captor, 13 Hungarian generals were executed by the Austrians in Arad. As history would have it, the Austrians specially marked this triumph by clinking their beer glasses. Their act of celebration, in the face of such tragedy, left a deep scar on the Hungarian people, and as a result, a powerful tradition was born. The Hungarians vowed not to clink their glasses with beer for 150 years as a way to honor the memory of those generals and to show defiance against their oppressors. And even though that 150 years has long passed, the custom still lingers. It's a small gesture, but it carries with it a heavy weight of history and respect, and a lot of Hungarians have yet not downplayed its historic significance. Anyone in Hungary can easily observe people raise their glasses, make eye contact, then say, egészségedre, which by interpretation is, to your health, while carefully avoiding the familiar clink. It's done quietly in a respectful nod to the past, and this importantly separates Hungary from many other European cultures. Subscribers pick. Trust us, you haven't truly experienced Hungary until you've nerved the cold, stripped down, and sunk into one of those steaming, mineral-rich pools. It is an absolute must, because going to a spa here isn't just a luxury but a way of life. What are your thoughts, though, on sharing your privacy with other people? Or wouldn't you rather feel violated for daring this? Remember, this is life in Hungary, a country where people bathe together. Chapter 9. Affordable cost of almost everything in Hungary. Would you be amazed to learn that Hungary proudly boasts of being one of the cheapest countries to live in Europe? Without a doubt, you'll be shocked at how lean your budget can be around here to have all these luxury without sweating it on your income. That's the case in Hungary, a treasure locked away from mainstream media in terms of the cheapness of goods and services and how affordable living here can be. In big-name environs like Budapest, you can be renting delightfully decent apartments for just a fraction of what you would have to pay when you are in star cities like Paris and London, respectively. And should you be willing to live in smaller towns or county settlements, the prices even decline further down to as little as $300 to $500 a month for a comfortable place to call home. It's no surprise so many expats have switched to Hungary as their newfound resort base. Besides the affordable cost of living, healthy feeding doesn't make you break the bank either. Be it that you're dining from a local restaurant or casually shopping for groceries, it won't be rocket science to notice how prices are immensely human-friendly. A well-served dish at a regular Hungarian restaurant might slightly rake up a meager sum of $5 to $10, and grocery shopping is pretty lean on your budget as well. Fresh produce, meats, and dairy products all come at prices that will leave some considerable change behind in your wallet at the end of a shopping spree. The public ride service is really organized and cost-friendly, with monthly passes in Budapest costing around $30. For those who would rather drive themselves than get chauffeured around, Gas prices are pretty lower here than in many other European countries. Besides, owning a car is no big deal to afford. For exploration-intrigued fellows, Hungary's central location on the European map makes it deftly easy to travel to other European countries without burning your fingers on transportation. And about having fun? You have absolutely nothing to worry about, as Hungary has you covered here too. Be you for history, culture, or just the random flakes of having an enjoyable outdoor time, there's definitely something for everyone. Museum tickets, theater performances, and other cultural activities are all conveniently priced, so you can enjoy the best of Hungary without draining your wallet. Chapter 10. Diverse Cuisine in Hungary. For our foodies in the mix, we've got great news for you. Besides the fame and glamour of exquisite Hungary landscapes and rich history, there's an irresistible serve of mouth-watering countless cuisines on the menu. Think of the scent of sizzling meat, fresh bread, and sweet pastries filling the air. It's all here. Hungarian dishes offer a beautiful blend of flavors and traditions, having each dish tell a story of the country's rich and varied heritage. We can begin with Hungarian's hotspot dish that is next door to memory beck and call goulash. And here's the catch. It's not just about a few stews. It's a symbol of Hungary itself. Take a cursory ponder on soft chunks of beef slow-cooked with paprika, onions, and potatoes, all swimming in a rich, savory soup. This is nothing short of comfort food at its best, suited for revamping your dermal sweats on a cold day. Now this begs the question, did you know that there are different variations of goulash across Hungary? Certain regions combine various spices or even a touch of wine, which cascades into a unique experience for each bowl. And if you've got some sweet taste buds, Hungary is at your service. Be rest assured that a slice of dobos tort, a multi-layered sponge cake full of rich chocolate buttercream and crowned with a caramel glaze, is all you need. The spicy things hurriedly follow just after these. Paprika, this vibrant red spice, without fail, is the heart and soul of Hungarian cooking. The heat is not everything, but the flavor is at its best. From mild to hot, sweet to smoky, paprika brings depth to almost every serving, be it sprinkled over a hearty stew or mixed into a rich sauce. Interestingly, the fun part really begins here. Hungarian dishes is not just a one-off timeline experience glued to the past. It's a continuously evolving experience. And very important to remember that food here goes beyond just something you eat to a practice that brings people together. Whether it's a big family gathering, a regular meal with friends, or a festive celebration, food takes exclusive preeminence at the center of it all. Imagine a Hungarian Easter feast with stuffed eggs, roasted lamb, and braided kolacs bread, or a Christmas dinner with fish soup and bagli, a sweet walnut, or a poppy seed roll. Those would be some servings never to be missed. Moreover, Hungarian chefs are currently bringing a modern twist to the colors and taste of their traditional recipes, and we can't wait to see the food magic they perform on global scale. Chapter 11. The Festival of Dressing Up as Devils in Hungary. Can you put up with an occasion where people have to be dressed as devils, walk through the streets, and light huge bonfires to frighten off the winter weather? Very crazy, you would think, right? Well, you're welcome to Hungary's state-of-the-art tradition, the Buso-jaras festival. What was the origin of this mind-boggling festival? A journey down history clock a couple hundred years back to a small town in Hungary named Mohács reveals that Ottoman Turks invaded Hungary, as the legends would remind us, causing the locals of Mohács to flee and hide in the swamps and forests. However, you can't stay hidden for so long, and in a defensive response to this, they designed scary masks and costumes, and in the shade of nightfall, ambushed around the Turkish camp. This really scared the hell out of the Turks, who believed they had been attacked by some demons that they couldn't help fleeing for their safety, leaving the town all free. And for this reason, so far, the people of Mohács have upheld celebrating their pranky victory of dressing up in devilry costumes to mark this daredevil event. However, never simply assume that this festival is just for revisiting old cultures. In present-day Mohács, it is a full-blown celebration. As the sun gives way for the night, the nooks and crannies of Mohács come bubbling with vibrant energy. With their grotesque masks and furry outfits, the Busos parade through the town, banging drums, shaking rattles, and creating as much loud disturbance as possible in the form of noise. Consider this to be their Halloween event with a Hungarian look and feel. The Buso masks are really an eye-catching costume you don't want to miss the sight of, made by manual hand-carving from trees and having huge bulging eyes, sharp fangs, wild hair, and even massive horns at some point. Each mask is uniquely crafted with a touch of creepiness and a deep sense of realness that you might want to double-check your observations to tell the difference in placing their near-accurate and next-to-human-looking designs. Chapter 12. The hometown of the most notorious female serial killer in history. This landmark town is legendary for the birth of the historic notorious serial killer, Elizabeth Bathory, who, being a Hungarian countess, is known to have countlessly, cruelly handled and annihilated hundreds of young women in the 15 and 1600s, respectively. It would interest you to know that Bathory was welcomed into this world from the well-to-do ranks and file of a Protestant nobility in Hungary, which was prominent enough to control Transylvania, while her uncle, Stephen Bathory, reigned as King of Poland. It is therefore understandable she was raised within the surroundings of thrones at the family castle in Exed, Hungary. In 1575, her wedding bells came ringing with Count Ferenc Nadasdy, who was a then member of another powerful Hungarian family that later on moved to Castle Chaktica, being a wedding gift from the Nadasdy family. Within a 10-year interval, dating back from 1585 to 1595, Bathory's conjugal union with Ferenc produced 4 children, but who in their wildest imagination believed that such a soul with such a lofty and amazing childhood could wield some of the most heinous crimes of human history. Who would ever believe the possibility of such unrivaled evil coming from such a seemingly innocent person? Being a very reserved girl in her childhood, it was nearly difficult for anyone to have second-guessed the teeming darkness that was quietly locked away on her inside, until years later, when this once innocent child crimes left the world in great bewilderment and an indelible trail of fear and devastation. Her brute style was cruel and unforgiving, with extremely vague intentions, and the numbers of victims were painfully staggering. This was such a huge puzzle for the then media to crack, considering her serene background. It was hard to tell what could make someone from such a normal place of huge admiration stoop so low in devilry as a monster. Could this have come from the town, linked with the atmospheric condition of the environment, or probably a rare innate attribute she was conceived of? The argument heated questions around this odd personality of hers never stopped coming. Chapter 13. Baby names must be approved by the government in Hungary. Could you imagine what it would look like if the government of the day played a role in determining what name your child would bear after birth? Well, don't be surprised to learn that it's just the way it works here. You must officially get approval from the government before you can apportion a name to your baby. Hungary has an official list of approved names that every parent would necessarily have to choose from in naming their wards, and is exclusively maintained by the Research Institute for Linguistics of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. Should your chosen name be found on the list, then you're absolutely good to go with that. Otherwise, things can really get a bit more complicated. Assuming you intend giving your baby a special kind of name obviously different from the collection in the government list, it is still very much possible, except you'll first need to submit a request to the government on account of this. This name would surely have to undergo some scrutiny to ensure it meets certain criteria, like if it comes easy to pronounce in the Hungarian tongue,
Az lenne a kérdésem, hogy mit tesz téged boldoggá?
if it's not offensive, and if it aligns with Hungarian naming traditions. You would wonder why one has to put up with all of these stringent measures in getting their child named. The idea is simple, as this serves as a natural vehicle to preserve the Hungarian language and culture. The Hungarian government wants to make sure that all names adhere to their national traditions and have zero chances of causing any known problems for the child later on in life. It's about keeping the cultural identity strong and avoiding any names that could be problematic. Agreeably, this has without fail incurred some controversy along the way, as some people deem it to be overly restrictive and argue that parents should have the liberty to name their child whatever they want. On the contrary, other Hungarian citizens argue that it's a good way to maintain the cultural heritage. It's obvious this heated debate has yet to produce a clear winner, and it's something that makes Hungary quite interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.